let's talk about this 100th season celebration for the New York Giants. There was a lot of anticipation. They were teasing a lot of content coming up. They were saying new uniforms. We saw mock-ups of the new uniforms. There was a lot of stuff in the works, and they finally revealed a bunch of it this past week. They first revealed the patch, the 100th season patch, which is good, as far as patches go. I mean, it is insane to think about the level of detail that they put into it. Let me see if I can pull it up because it's one of those things. I mean, remember when we um reviewed the Broncos uniforms, and they all do this. These companies, these designers, they do this. They like have these you know, illustrations or whatever with arrows pointing everywhere and saying, see this little thing that you can barely see close up when you're shoving it in your face? That's an homage and a tribute to some obscure historical thing related to that area. You won't be able to see it on TV or in person at the game, but they have at the bottom, they have the dude throwing from like the 1956 logo, although it looks different. It looks weird. It looks kind of cartoony. And I know that the original one is a drawing, but it just looks more realistic than the one they included on the patch. They were saying that there's like the shield, the football is the Duke, and I'm like, how do you make that connection? I mean, it doesn't look like the Duke football, but they were like, there's 8 laces for the 8 championships. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But like, that's the Duke, and like these are the columns from whatever Yankee Stadium when they played there, and these are the O's, the zeros are shaped like the old Giant Stadium. It's like, all right, I guess I kind of see it. So as far as patches go, pretty cool. But the bigger story are the throwback uniforms. These uniforms were designed to honor 100 seasons of New York Giants football. Shockingly enough, they did not honor the 70s. Any of the uniforms from the 70s. Whoa. But they went way back to the 20s and 30s, way back to the first couple decades for inspiration for these uniforms, which they say are going to be worn up to 2 times this year. So no more than 2 times this year, sounds like. And it sounds like they could wear it once and we get blown out and the players hate it and they're like, we don't have to do it again. That's what that sounds like. The helmet is inspired by the 1938 helmet. It's got that cool like Michigan Wolverines type design on the helmet. Which I dig. I think everyone's in agreement there. The helmet rules. The helmet is awesome. Blue with the red kind of, I don't even know what you call those, like the horns type. They look like buffalo bison horns in the front, and then the 3 stripes going back. It's the Michigan Wolverines helmet, basically, but blue and red. So I'm a big fan of that. The jersey is is inspired by the 1933 jersey. When I first saw the mock-up of this, there was a leak. It was like, here's what the reported or supposed Giants alternate uniforms will look like, not realizing that it was honoring the 100th season. It was just like, Giants are set to debut an alternate uniform in 2024. There was no mention of like, it's the 100th season and we're going to honor that. And someone did a mock-up throwing it on Daniel Jones, and it looks exactly like the fucking Montreal Canadiens, which I know everyone is saying. So then they reveal it this go round, the official release, and it's like, okay, it's not the Montreal Canadiens. It's close, but it's not as close as it looked in the mock-up. So the jersey's okay. It is growing on me, and I think it would have worked better had it not been for the pants, which ironically, the jersey was what I was ranking last in terms of like there's helmet, pants, socks, jersey. I had the helmet as the best part, and I had the jersey as the worst part. But then I didn't mind the pants, especially considering that it's not random. All of this, despite like we talked about the New York Mets City Connect uniforms, and it's like this is fucking just so stupid. where they're like saying like, "Oh, this bridge, look at this bridge." I don't know. The pants, it wasn't like we thought it'd be cool. It's like we thought it'd be new and fresh and different and what unique. It's like we're honoring the pants that they wore in 1925. That's the colored pants that they wore back then, so we're trying to honor that. Same with the socks. The socks are also from that 1925 season. So the pants and socks, same season. That's what they wore back in the day. And I mean, could it been better? Yes, it could have been blue pants. It could have been white pants. I don't know that red pants would have worked. I think that would have been too much red for these retina and these irises, these these cones. So no red, white or blue probably would have worked better. I think I would have liked blue over white. Just I don't know, it would have been different. But the tan, I think it's gonna grow on people. A lot of people were making jokes like, I know TJ Hitchens from Barstool was like, he had posted the original Jake from State Farm, where he goes, "Hey, what are you wearing? Khakis." So, and Justin Pennick, he posted a picture of a pair of khaki pants on a hanger, and he's like, I got my own pair of Giants pants. I don't hate the pants as much as a lot of other people do. They're certainly not the worst alternates. I mean, you can look back through the annals, and the record books, and you'd see like the Bumblebee uniforms that the Steelers wore were pretty bad. The Packers one wasn't too great, and I think that even the Eagles one, they had like the blue and yellow that had the same kind of helmet design as the Wolverines. So I think it'll look better in action than it does in stills. What was the most bizarre was El Jefe from New York Revival posted a close up of they're releasing promo stills all over the place. It was mostly KT, AT, Jalen Hyatt, Deontay Banks, Bobby Okereke, and then Daniel Jones. And all of them look really fired up and happy and emotional and just like revved up, energized. And I'll have a post a close up of Daniel Jones, and he looks legitimately scared in the fucking promo shoot. What is going on? I it doesn't inspire confidence. El Jefe has a whole "Damn It Daniel" video series, and I was like, and that's what I responded with. I was like, "Damn it, Daniel!" Even in the promo shoots, he looks scared. So, oh boy, Daniel. And they're throwback uniforms. I mean, like they basically haven't really updated or changed their uniforms that often, too often. I mentioned the '70s where they had the crazy, like almost like racetrack NY on the side. They're not going to go back to that. They didn't want to honor that because it was like the dark times, right? And then the '60s and '50s were basically wearing a version of that now, the current uniforms. We already have the throwbacks for the '80s and '90s that we wear for a couple games that are so nice, universally across the board accepted and beloved. So you gotta have to go back before the '50s, and that's when you get into the '30s and '20s, and that's what they wore. So to me, though, it's like, I mean, you obviously have to update the helmet, and it looks cooler in the helmets of today. Um, the socks, I like. I dig the socks. I think it's different, and I like it. The helmet, I like. It's just the pants and the jersey, you know. So could they have tweaked it a little bit more and modified it a little bit more? Certainly, but then you're kind of losing the whole throwback nostalgic point of it. The fact that we're 100 years old is just something to really celebrate. So I know, uh, you know, it got roasted, but fucking all uniforms get roasted pretty much, and that's what bothers me about a lot of the uniform. Like, what happened to uniform design, uniform designers? I feel like there are so many people out there throwing out like cool alternates and throwbacks and mock-ups that are just, I guess, quote unquote unofficial, amateur, not affiliated, and they just look so much better than what we got going on. But I remember I threw this in AI. I was like, the New York Giants, I did a prompt and I was like, the New York Giants are a football team in the National Football League. They are releasing an alternate helmet for the 2024 NFL season. Please create the alternate helmet with the alternate logo for the 2024 season. And I just, nope. AI just couldn't wrap its head around it. Although I got a free trial for Gemini Advanced, so maybe I should run it through that. I didn't even think to run it through that, but a lot of the others like create a new alternate helmet for the New York Giants football team in the National Football League. We'll see what it comes up with. It is advanced. Normally you have to pay for it. I don't know when I have to cancel it. Probably already paying out the ass for it, and I don't even know it. Yeah, I mean, no, they still come up with that NY. It's like, that's where AI kind of comes up short. Red face mask is interesting though. And there's one with a red outline on the NY, which I don't hate. So red face mask, red outline, maybe change the NY. And then of course they have one where I know people have been pushing for the white helmet with the blue lettering and the red outline, which feels too close to the Buffalo Bills with the white helmet. But then they have like a city skyline. It almost looks like those Army Navy helmets from one of the Army Navy games. But instead of like pictures of fighter jets and aircraft carriers and whatnot, it's just the Manhattan skyline. Generate more. Let's see what they come up with. Come on, Gemini. Nope, that's it. All right. So yeah, that's one thing. That's one of my bigger regrets. I should have just got into uniform and helmet design because that's what I did as a kid. I'd come up with designs and logos and names. Anytime someone was floating the idea of a new city or town getting a sports team, I was like all over it. I got it. I got the name. I got the logo. I got the uniforms. Far be it from me. I haven't done it in like 30 years, but I think I could dust off. I don't even know what to use. The pencil? People still use those? Yeah, so those are the throwback uniforms. I mean, it's 100 years, you know? It's a collector's item. If you're a real big Giants fan, you got the money, you'll buy it because it was like it's a one-time limited edition exclusive type thing. They're not going to wear it again ever after the season, probably. Like you remember the 1994 season? They did the 75th anniversary of the NFL, and everyone wore their throwback uniforms for most of the season. I think when the Giants wore their throwback uniforms, it's essentially the uniforms that they're wearing now, which were the uniforms they wore in the 50s, 60s. So, um, it's different. They went different. They went big, and we'll see if they're called the Century Red, which I thought is a cool name for it. Even though I know that the red jerseys are cursed and should never be worn again. These aren't completely red. At least they got a little blue in there and white. So, if we if we wear them twice and we win them twice, people start to come around on it. But if we get fucking entranced. If we get trounced in those, burn them. So those are the throwback uniforms.